This morning, an extraordinary rebuke. Former Defense Secretary James Mattis condemning President Trump. Mattis, in a new op-ed, accusing the president of deliberately trying to divide Americans. The retired Marine general writing in The Atlantic, "Donald Trump is the first president in my lifetime who does not try to unite the American people, does not even pretend to try. Instead, he tries to divide us." Mattis slamming the president's threat to deploy U.S. armed forces against Americans protesting the death of George Floyd.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
Mattis had kept silent about his former boss following his resignation in December 2018 over the president's Syria policy. But now, Mattis writes that when he was sworn into the Marine Corps some 50 years ago, "Never did I dream that troops taking the same oath would be ordered under any circumstance to violate the constitutional rights of their fellow citizens, much less to provide a bizarre photo op for the elected commander-in-chief, with military leadership standing alongside." That's a reference to Monday night's federal show of force, pushing peaceful protesters from in front of the White House, clearing the way for the president and top advisors to pose for pictures in front of a nearby church. President Trump responding Wednesday on Twitter, calling him the world's most overrated general, adding, "I didn't like his leadership style or much else about him, and many others agree. Glad he's gone." Mattis's top-to-bottom takedown of President Trump coming the same day Mark Esper, the current defense chief, also broke with the president on using the military to put down nationwide protests.
The option to use active duty forces in a law enforcement role should only be used as a matter of last resort and only in the most urgent and dire of situations. We are not in one of those situations now.
A senior administration official telling NBC News that Secretary Esper's comments were not well received by the White House, raising new questions about whether he'll keep his job.
Should the president lose faith, we will all learn about that in the future.
And General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has released a memo to top military commanders with a reminder in which he writes, quote, "Every member of the U.S. military swears an oath to support and defend the Constitution and the values embedded within it." And he added this in a handwritten note at the bottom of the letter: "We all committed our lives to the idea that this is America, and we will stay true to that oath and the American people."